We've been on so many magical adventures to Walt Disney World together, but more times than I care to admit, I wanted to take in as much magic as possible, and I did not leave enough time, and I was so close to missing the Magical Express. Now be honest, who else has this problem? You want to experience as much magic as possible, you don't even realize how much time is going by, and then before you know it, you're running extremely late, and you're hoping and praying that the bus is just a little bit later, or maybe they're stalled for a second putting luggage into the bus as you're coming around the bend with seconds to go. I know this feeling just a little too well, and a few of my friends recently had the same situation happen to them, and they described it as pulling a Michael, so this is something I want to try and get out of the habit of doing. It's something I've had the opportunity to experience, but thankfully I have never actually missed the bus from Walt Disney World to the Orlando International Airport. But the bigger question that I want to answer today, what happens if you do miss that Magical Express and you see it pull away just as you're making your way back to the resort, what then? The simple answer is you go to guest services at your resort, tell them you missed the Magical Express, and they will try to get you on the next bus. But it's not always that simple. Sometimes, not always, depending on several factors which I will touch on in a moment, but the Mears Company, which operates Disney's Magical Express, will make several stops at different resorts around Walt Disney World, picking up guests on its way to Orlando International Airport. And like most companies that sell seats, planes, trains, etc., they try to fill as many of those seats as possible each and every trip. Now, if you've been to Walt Disney World several times before and you've ridden on the Magical Express many times throughout the year, you may be saying, wait a minute, Michael, I've been on Disney's Magical Express before where I have seen open rows of seats. Yes, that does happen, but it depends on the time of year and the time of day. During the slower season at Walt Disney World, less guests are leaving the resorts all at the same time, so those Magical Express buses are less crowded. That being said, during the peak season and during certain times of day that are popular for guests to leave Walt Disney World, you'll see those buses get a little bit more crowded. If possible, Disney will get you on another Magical Express, if possible. If it's not possible, however, you will be responsible for getting yourself to Orlando International Airport. That means an Uber or a cab. Now, if you're wondering, Michael, what is the likelihood that I'll be able to get on that next bus? Again, it comes down to the time of year and time of day. Slower time of year, greater chance. Peak season, I would doubt it. Also, if you have an early morning flight, you have a higher chance of being able to get on that early Magical Express versus a later flight. Now, I know what you're thinking. I paid all of this money to go to Walt Disney World. I just stayed a little bit longer than I should have, or I had a sick child, or we were all just running behind from some other situation that we had to handle, and now I have to pay an extra $70, $80, $90 for a cab, Uber, or Lyft back to the airport. Unfortunately, yes, that is the case. If you miss your Magical Express, there is no guarantee that you'll be put on another bus, and then you'll have to take some other transportation to the airport. In addition, Disney's minivan service does go from Walt Disney World to Orlando International Airport, but that will cost you $150 one way. The key is to not be late for that bus. As much as you want to stay for every possible moment of the magic, leave yourself extra time to catch that Magical Express. I recommend you get back to your resort 45 minutes or an hour before the scheduled pickup time. 30 minutes you should be good too, but leave a little bit extra, you never know. Speaking from experience, it's extremely easy to lose track of time at Walt Disney World, so set an alarm so that you don't go from Hollywood Studios to the beach club and say, you know, I've got 3 hours, I got plenty of time. Take the boat, get a milkshake, get back on the boat, and try to catch the bus, which takes forever to get there, and then you're seconds away from missing Disney's Magical Express. You do not want that to happen to you. Leave extra time. Now, if you know far enough in advance that you need to change the return bus from a Walt Disney World resort back to Orlando International Airport, you can give them a call. I will leave the number in the description of this video, and the sooner that you call, the more likely it is that they'll be able to switch the bus for you. So if you know a month in advance, call a month in advance, a week in advance, 3 days in advance. They probably will be able to help, but it's just worth a call. Again, number in the description of this video. So have you ever missed the Magical Express from your resort back to Orlando International Airport? Let us know in the comments below what happened, or maybe you're like me and you like to live dangerously, where you experience as much magic as possible and you leave just seconds before the Magical Express takes off. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear stories as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.